I'm a vampire wife. I'm so glad that you're here. Last week I was talking about how I was sick and then I wasn't sick anymore and all the things I did while I was sick. And one of you commented, and I'm sure it wasn't to be mean or anything, but you were like, since when is getting a common cold news? And you know what? You're right. You're right. Hey, it's not news, but I use the internet as my video diary. So whatever, welcome to my diary, I guess. Vampire Wife Diary. Let me pick up my coffee. My coffee! It's my second one today. It's probably a bad choice. I'm trying to switch my sleep schedule because I don't want to sleep at night and then I want to sleep in super late, and that's just not a productive way to live. So I woke up this morning at 4:15-ish to make my husband's lunch before work and stuff, and I'm trying to match his sleep schedule so I didn't go back to bed, because usually I like wake up, pack his lunch, make his breakfast, all that, and then the second he walks out the door I go back to bed until 9 a.m. So I'm trying to not do that so I can match his schedule. So we're staying up. This is coffee number 2. What's up? I want to talk about funny things that have happened to me, and most of them have to do with the dogs. So I have 2 dogs. I have Baby and Diego. Diego's a big mutt, and Baby is a blue heeler. And I don't know if you've ever been around a heeler before, but instead of barking, they kind of like have a high-pitched squeak that they love to use all the time, just nonstop. And so that's her preferred method of communication, which is super great. It's really, it really relaxes the mind to just have someone behind you at all times, just generally screaming. Also, if you hear crying, I do live in an apartment and there is a baby next door and it's very vocal. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I live here. Whatever. I let the baby do what it wants and I do what I want. But anyway, so my baby, the dog, when we first got married, we adopted her, and it was like 2 weeks after we got married, we got her, and we named her Baby. Bad choice, because we got married immediately after high school. Everyone thought we had a human baby, because I kept talking about, oh, baby this, baby that, baby this, baby that. It was my dog. Whoops, had to beat down those small town allegations. It kind of died out when it just was like, I never had a kid with me, so either that or I was a horrible mother. But yeah, so don't name your dog Baby. It's a bad choice. Anyway, so she likes to scream. So that's the background for this. And so also I'm going to talk about poop. So if that grosses you out, leave the video. I don't care. But anyway, since moving here, I've become much more intimately acquainted with these dogs than I had ever been before, because before we had a yard and they would go out and do their business by themselves, but now I have to walk them and pick up after them, after every single poop that they have, everything, because I'm a good pet owner and I pick up my dog's poop, as you should. But the other morning, it's literally, so I'm in Michigan, so it's like in the negatives. It's really cold in the morning. I think that morning it was like 8 degrees, but it's like, feels like -10 or whatever. So it's really cold. So we're out there and she used the restroom, and then like she was trying to poop and she pooped most of it, but then like I look, because usually she's really fast, especially in the cold, and so I look at her and she's like shaking, shivering so hard, and I can tell she wants to like go inside, because right now that it's cold, they run outside, use the restroom as fast as they can, and they want to run back into the apartment, which is fair. But so I see her and she's like shaking. I'm like, what is going on? And I look back there and she had like a pebble dangling from the back, and it was dangling because apparently she had eaten one of my hairs. And so I was like, okay, I gave it another 30 seconds, and I was like, she's not gonna push out another poop. Like, this was the end of the poop. I was like, she's not gonna push out another poop to get that whole hair out. And so, trying to be helpful, I went with the poop bag and I like grabbed the part that was dangling and pulled, and I don't think I hurt her or anything, I just scared her, but the hair was still in her butt, and so I like pulled it out and she went, ah! Like, genuinely screamed like a person, but also it was when I was taking her out at like 6 in the morning, so it's dark and it's so quiet, and like you can tell some families are waking up to like take their kids to school and stuff, and then you just hear my dog scream, just literally scream, and it's because I grabbed poop out of her butt practically, and then I had to throw it away, but since I had like grabbed it, I didn't like, there was no way for me to like fold the bag up to like how you normally like grab it and then flip it inside out to put it in the bag type thing without touching the poop. So like, since I had grabbed it, it was all kind of just sitting there, and I was like, I'll just like into the trash can, you know? And so like the bag is over my hand like this, and I'm holding it, and I went to throw it into the trash can, and the poop went in the trash can, and the bag flew like 20 feet away, and I was like, oh my god, because I can't lift her. So then I am with her, and she's still shaking because she's so cold. And we're chasing this bag through the wind, and it's 6 in the morning, and she is still kind of screaming just for the heck of it. And so I finally chased the bag down, and I threw it in the trash, and then I had to run inside and pretend like that wasn't the most loud and disruptive thing ever. And also, I always take her out first, and then I take Diego, my big boy, because he's much more patient than she is, and also he's bigger, so he has a bigger bladder. With her, if I make her wait too long, she's like potty trained, but she's real little, so like sometimes I can't trust her bladder, you know? But yeah, so I have him go second. So then I had to take her inside and then like walk past all the other apartments and pretend that I hadn't just had a dog that screamed. And so it just, oh my god, it's so embarrassing. And then, so that happened. And then this morning, again, I went to take her out, but she like, oh my god, she's so bossy. She's like, she's meant to herd things around, like animals and stuff like that, but she just uses it to abuse anyone in the area. She wants to yell at children. She wants to scream at anybody ever. Like, it's just, and so it's so embarrassing because then I can't take her out when people are around because she'll start screaming at them, not barking at them, literally like, ah, ah, ah. Oh my god. And then it looks like I'm strangling her or something because she's screaming and I'm just standing there with the leash. I'm like, I don't know why she's doing that. I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry she's yelling at you. I am not in control of this situation at all. I'll like go to grab her mouth to like hold her mouth closed, and even with her mouth closed, she's like, oh my god. Oh my god. So she overstimulates me constantly. She stresses me out so bad. But yeah, so this morning I went and took her out an hour earlier than I normally do because she had been bugging me. So I was like, okay, we'll go. So we go out at 8 a.m. instead of 9 a.m. like we usually do. And so the kids are getting picked up for school at the school bus, and she wants to scream at the children. And so that's just like, so she's just screaming at children. I'm like, I'm sorry. So then we ended up not even being able to like have her go use the restroom. I had to take her out an hour later because she's ridiculous. But she has such a horrible habit of screaming at the kids, right? And so a few months ago, they learned that she was the dog that screamed. And then when they saw her, they would start going, ah! And like screaming at her because they knew that she was the dog that screamed. And then they were doing it the one time. I was like, look, they're making fun of you. They're bullying you because you're being ridiculous. And she stopped doing it for a little while, but they haven't bullied her in long enough, so now she's doing it again. So if you see my dog, make fun of her, I guess, because it makes her act right for a little bit. But yeah, so that was really funny with her. And then no, that's pretty much everything with the dog. The only weird stuff with Diego's just a weird freak. So like, he just wants to stare at me all day because he's a boy dog, and so he just wants to be up on me and just with his big fat eyes just stare into my soul. And then he sleeps weird. So like, I have a few photos, maybe I'll put them in, where he just like crumples. I don't know why. He has a bed, he doesn't, or like if he does sleep on it, he doesn't sleep on it right. Last night we were trying to go to sleep and I was like, what is going on? Because I had his bed in the hallway because my husband's sick now. So I didn't want the dogs in the room because I want him to get better, and it just feels like the hair and the dandruff just make it last longer. So I made them sleep in the hallway, so I put their beds out there in the hall. And we're like trying to fall asleep and we can't fall asleep, and it sounds like someone's like just walking on the walls. And I was like, what is going on? And then my husband goes out there to check, And he's literally laying in between the hallway with like his feet pressed against the wall, and he's just like kicking it just for the hell of it. Just, I don't know. He just does weird stuff. He just does weird stuff. But yeah, those are my updates on the dogs. I did start a new book. Okay, I finished reading book 3 of Bridgerton about Benedict and Sophie. Loved it. Love it every time. So good. Season 4, which is their season, comes out tomorrow. Very excited about that. Also, something I'm excited about is Dracula 2025 version. I guess it only came out in 2025 for Europe. So it's releasing in America on like February 6th or something. So I want to go see that. We also want to go see the new Avatar movie before it's out of theaters. So maybe we'll do that this week. Who knows? I hope so, because I do want to see it before it goes out of theaters. And I think this might be the last weekend that it is in theaters. Anyway, yeah, excited about Bridgerton. Want to go see Dracula. Want to go see Avatar. Besides Bridgerton, I started reading 2 separate books. One I gave up on literally like 1 chapter into it. But I'll tell you about the one I like first. Here, hold on. So it's called The Half King. I took the book jacket off of it. It's the book that my husband got for me for Christmas. He picks out the best books of all time. I swear to God. So I'm really loving it. It's a romantasy. I haven't gotten to too much of the romance part because I'm only halfway through it. But the world of it, I'm loving. So it's like one big kingdom separated into 4 separate regions. 1,000 years ago, the 4 regions joined together to try to kill their goddess, right? So they tricked her into like coming down in human form, and then they stabbed her and tried to kill her and stuff like that. So because of that, she lived, and she cursed all 4 of the kingdoms to a different like royal family curse. So each royal family, when they have their kids, the firstborn and the secondborn each have a curse. And so the region that the main character's from, the firstborn is cursed to like immense beauty. And at first I was like, how the hell is that a curse? But it's like they come out so gorgeous that like people want to attack them. Like it puts them in danger. And then the secondborn has to be given to the temple. Like they have to be raised to either become an oracle or a priest. And if they don't end up getting any powers before their 20th birthday of like the sight or whatever to see the future or have any religious powers and stuff like that, then they're just supposed to serve the temple for the rest of their life. So that's that region's curse. Another region's curse, the firstborn is bound to constant like bloodlust, like they just are angry and want to attack things all the time. Another one, the firstborn, when the sun sets, they like disappear into the shadows, and then they rematerialize in the morning, like when the sun rises. And then that starts happening when they turn 20, and then usually by the time they're 21, their shadow time has taken up their entire day. So then they just never rematerialize, and then they don't really know if they die or not, or if they just go to the shadows. And then the last kingdom, their firstborn is cursed with like immense knowledge. And so like the day they're like real smart leading up to it, but the day they turn 20, they gain like all of the knowledge in the world, and it's too much for a human to comprehend, and they lose their mind. So I am really fascinated by that. So then it's like showing you all these people. I don't know what the curse of the secondborn is from every single one. You only know, or so far I only know about the curse of the secondborn from the main character's region, because she is the secondborn. She's the one that was given to the temple as a baby. But anyway, fascinating. Live, laugh, loving it. Loving it. So The Half King, highly suggest. The other book that I started trying to read and only made it a chapter into was The Desert Prince. And I got it because it was supposed to be like fighting monsters type thing. Like they fall in love and they fight monsters, which I love a monster book. Tell you what, I love some monsters. And I thought it was going to be good, but I didn't realize, so like, I really don't like books where like, if the main character is a boy, if it's written by a woman, or if the main character is a woman, if it's written by a boy. And so this one, the main character is a girl. And then like the first 20 characters they introduce you to are all women, which I like love, 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 but it's written by a man. So it was making me really annoyed because I just feel like when you're writing the main character from the opposite gender's position, some people can do it well, but a lot of people just end up falling into like stereotypes. And so it was just like, no, you're so pretty. No, you're so pretty. And then like they would be like, there's one girl that sleeps around a lot, I guess. And they were like, oh, are you gonna see him again? Are you gonna see him again? She's like, no, after the first time, they just want to talk, and that's just a headache. I don't want to hear men talk. I just want to fuck them. And that's like, I don't know. I'm sure women like that exist in the world, but in my experience, that's just not how it is. So I was like, whatever, I'm not reading this. So that was my throwaway book of the week. Don't suggest that one. Unless you're into that, I guess. I don't know. Live, laugh, love. But yeah, there was that. What else happened this week? My friend made me laugh really hard because she's like the kindest, sweetest woman on the planet. But she's been going through stuff in life and she got injured, and so she was on painkillers. And while she was on painkillers, I sent her, or I didn't send her a video. I was telling her about, I don't know if you guys know the Lat Man, but he's like a bodybuilder. Him and his girlfriend dance, and it makes me laugh. It makes me giggle. Because they like really break it down. And so I think it's funny. And so I was telling her about it, and she went to his page while she was on pain meds. She went, you like this? Just like the judgiest I've ever heard her in my entire life. And it made me laugh so hard. And so then I asked her about it when she was no longer on pain meds. And she was like, oh, muscles really gross me out. What else? Oh my god, the nails from last week. I still haven't delivered them, but they will be delivered by the time you guys see this video, so I'll go ahead and put those videos in. But look at these. Okay, so these are Victorian themed nails. I am obsessed with these. Turn out so pretty. Okay, so that was the Victorian ones. Now the next one was supposed to be like Joan of Arc, medieval type vibes. So hear me out. We have like some stained glass on there. I tried to capture like the dragon and like the armor of it all. So we got that going on. I'm working on 2 sets right now that are going to Washington. So that's another state down on our Nails Across the US. Very exciting. Excuse me, sorry. Jesus. Yeah, so Nails Across the US, congratulations, we're doing good on that. The US is scaring me a lot recently. If you see the news, spooky kooky, don't like it at all. I'm actually stressed to a point that I feel like every time I see something, I'm just kind of disassociating. As someone who grew up, like, when the Hunger Games had just come out, I read those books religiously, so much. I literally... the summer in between 5th and 6th grade, I read the entire trilogy 3 times. I love that series. And so now watching what's going on in America, I'm like, oh no, oh no. And then like, I mean, you read mostly classic literature in school, like Animal Farm or like Fahrenheit 411. And so like, is that what it's called? I think so. But anyway, so you read all that stuff in school, and then, or like you watch The Handmaid's Tale and stuff like that, and you're like, that's crazy. Like, how could that even? And then it starts happening. You're like, oh no, oh no, oh no. So don't love that. But also, just a small complaint about those books. The fact that every dystopian novel from when I was a child, every fascist regime could be toppled by a teenage girl, gave me a real high sense of like what one could accomplish. And now it just doesn't feel like that. And I know that if everyone joins together, we could beat it, but it really doesn't feel like that at the moment. It feels very defeating watching every horrible thing that happens on the news. And then they're like, what are you talking about? That's not what happened. They're a terrorist. What are you talking about? everyone watch the video. I don't know, I won't get into it deep because I don't want to like encourage people to be freaked out, but like, oh my god, just know that I'm upset about it. So let me think. I think I'm gonna make paper chains later. I feel like it. Because we have our living room decorated, or like I decorated our living room with like paper things hanging from the ceiling, but we don't have anything decorated in our bedroom. So maybe I'll get into that. What else? I've been practicing piano, still making steps towards that, still not working on Italian, whoopsie poopsies. But I did find a better way to edit YouTube videos. Not that you guys care about it. But I was really struggling. I was using InShot, and that just like, it was messing up my video quality so bad, and then it just, I don't know, it made it really hard to do everything. So I got a different video editing app that I'm trying out right now. Last week I think it worked somewhat better, but we'll see. Let me know if you guys have any book recommendations. Oh, that was my other complaint. Oh, okay, so I'm in a reading kick right now, right? I want to be reading. I think I might read The Handmaid's Tale next, because I've seen the show, but I never read the book, so maybe I'll read that just because of what's going on. But if you guys have any book recommendations, hit me up, because girl, I need something to read. Because you know how I kept being like, oh, when the Moon Hatch book 2 comes out in February, book 2. It got delayed again, because of course it did. So now it's moved back to May 19th. So like, whatever, hopefully it's really good when it comes out and it's worth the wait, but like, I want to read it now. So that was my other disappointing news, unfortunately. I don't know, I was thinking about getting a Kindle, even though I'm real anti-Amazon. I hate Amazon. My husband loves Amazon, but I'm real anti them. I'm anti a lot of things, but Amazon's one of them. But I was thinking about getting a Kindle because I've been watching videos on how to jailbreak them recently, and it seems like if you jailbreak it, it's worth it. But like, I don't like the idea that like, if I buy something, I don't own it. Like, what do you mean you can just remove books from my library or like delete games that I have? Like, it just, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. Doesn't feel right. But I was watching a jailbreaking video, and they literally like jailbroke it and then were able to get a bunch of books like actually downloaded so that they couldn't be deleted off their Kindle and stuff. But also they were able to play Pokemon like GBA games on there, like on the ROMs and stuff like that. And I was doing that on my phone for a little bit with my husband, but all of the ones, only the ones that were for DS were working on my phone. Any of the ones that were made for the GBA players kept tweaking out my whole phone, and I thought it was going to catch on fire. So stopped doing that. But if I could find a different thing to play them on, which my husband was telling me there's like a GBA like game launcher thing for your phone that I could play it on instead. But I don't know, he's so smart. He starts saying things to me and I don't know what he's talking about. You know when there's the memes where it's like blah blah blah, proper name, place name. That's how I feel sometimes when he starts talking about technology, because he's so smart, but also he's so handsome. I just stare at him. Yeah. I don't think I have any other thoughts. Maybe I made cinnamon rolls this morning. I'm just like experimenting. Oh, okay, so I'm making a new sourdough starter. I did sourdough the entire time, not the entire time. What a liar. Oh my god, I lived in California for like 20 something years. I did a sourdough starter for like the year before we moved here. And then we moved here, and then every sourdough starter I was making kept like just turning gross or dying, and I did not understand what was going on. So I'm trying again. I'm making a new sourdough starter. So far, so good. But I really miss having sourdough. So I've been just making bread products with instant yeast. So this morning I was playing around with recipes and stuff, because all my recipes are for sourdough. So I was playing around with the instant yeast and I made cinnamon rolls. Gorge. Love them. I had the little, oh, it's not even in the video because I ate them already. But I also took all the leftover pieces of dough and just made like cinnamon monkey bread, and I had that for breakfast. delicious. You know what else I've been eating a lot recently is corned beef hash with like runny eggs on top. Delicious, delicious. Love, love, love. Hear me out. I love any meat with eggs in a tortilla for breakfast. That's all I want. I don't care if it's steak and egg. Oh my God. Steak and Peruvian beans in runny eggs in a tortilla. Prime breakfast. Absolute ultimate. But yeah, any meat with a runny egg in a tortilla. If you throw in a bean in there, I'm gonna eat it, you know? But that's what I want for breakfast. And then I usually want breakfast foods for most meals, honestly. I have a hard time with that because I'm in charge of like all the cooking in our house, which I don't mind at all. But, you know, for the last, I don't know, I used to like get grumpy about it because I was like, I don't want to eat what you want to eat. Why can't we ever eat what I want to eat? And then I saw an Instagram video that was like, the reason we can't eat what I want to eat is because what I eat is nowhere near as filling as what he needs for all the activity he does, you know? Because I want girl dinner or like something else, you know? But I saw an Instagram video and it was like making my separate dinner so that I don't fight with my husband anymore. And I was like, what? I don't know why it never even occurred to me. So I've been making us separate dinners for the last like 5 years where I cook him whatever is good for him and his lifestyle and stuff. And then my dinner is usually like some type of egg and bean and tortilla thing. Because that's all I want to eat all the time. I'm obsessed with eggs, dude. And one day I'm going to get out of it because every once in a while it does circle around where I'm like, ew, eggs. But that train has not stopped in quite a while. But where's it going with that? Sorry, team. Oh, that's right. Because we were talking about like if we ever have kids one day, I want us all to like eat dinner at the table and stuff. But for the last 5-6 years, I've been making his dinner, serving it to him, and then going and making my dinner and coming to sit down like 15-20 minutes later. So he's already finished his dinner by the time I'm eating mine. And the reason I do that is because like, why would I make my meal first and then let it get cold while I'm cooking his dinner? You know, makes no sense. And then we watch a movie together while I eat my dinner. Love, love, love. But if we ever have kids, I need to figure out how to like serve all the meals at the same time and have them not be cold. So I don't know. I'm thinking about getting one of those hot plate things. Where you like put it in the center of the table and you put the bowls on top of it and it keeps it warm, supposedly. I don't know. I'm thinking about next summer because I don't know if we're going to move out of these apartments or if we're going to stay here. It all just depends on everything. But I want to start a garden and start doing plants and stuff like that because I really do want to can a bunch next year. But also I was thinking about if I can like grow extra berries and stuff like that and then freeze them for winter because I love a little smoothie. I don't know. I don't know if I've talked about this before. I'm constantly like, I have weird paranoid thoughts. That's what, like everyone's always like, oh, what do you mean you've never tried weed? You've never smoked weed before? No, because I already am like really paranoid sober. I'm scared that if I smoke weed, I'm going to become like schizophrenic, you know? Like, if you leave me alone in a room too long, I'm going to start hearing voices in the walls. I don't need to enhance that by taking drugs. But anyway, what was I talking about? Paranoid thoughts. Oh, scurvy. So one of my paranoid delusional thoughts is that we're going to get scurvy. And so every meal that I make, I'm like in a constant state of like, and what can I put into this? We need something to prevent scurvy. We need some type of vitamin C. Where's our vitamin C? Where are our colorful vegetables? And that's how I like morph all of our meals is I'm like, okay, we need carbs because we need energy. And then I need so much protein in this meal that it's unfathomable, but also we need vitamin C or else we will get scurvy. But it's like how I feed myself every single day. So I have a lot of smoothies in the winter because I'm scared of scurvy. All that to say that next year I would like to freeze a bunch of fruit so that I don't have to buy a bunch of expensive fruit in the winter to make my smoothies. What are other paranoid delusions I've had. Earlier this year, I was convinced that I smell bad all the time. I was taking like 4 showers a day, and I was just fully convinced that I smell. I don't know. At our last house, I was convinced that I could, like, oh my god, I couldn't sleep ever, because every time I would go to fall asleep, I thought people were breaking into the house. They weren't. It was just every time I was on, like, the cusp of sleep, I heard people breaking into the house. They weren't. Not real. So I handle stress really well, if you're wondering. If you're wondering at all. I have some gray hairs up top. I don't know if you can see them. Oh my god, can you see my flakes? Ignore that. It's a hair washing day. I have some gray hairs up here though. Anyway, yeah, so I handle stress really well. And that's really fun. Also, I'm not doing anything to manage that. Because it's ridiculous. What do you mean? I don't know. I'm not anti, like, medication for things. I'm anti-medication for me. If that makes sense. Anyway, thank you for coming and listening to my diary. I love you guys. Please like and subscribe and comment what book I should read. Okay. Bye.